First question's really easy, and that is, who are you?
Well, my name is Anthony Woods. I'm a Democrat running for Congress here in the 10th Congressional District.
You've been described as kind of the up-and-comer in this race, and certainly somebody who's going to be a player, maybe, if not in this race and others in the future. What do you bring to the table in terms of your political background?
Well, I think the key thing that people are realizing is that if we keep on sending career politicians to Washington, D.C., for that matter, same results that we're really frustrated with. People like the idea of taking a break from that sort of pattern and realizing we could send a person who understands exactly what it's like when I've experienced these challenges firsthand, from growing up without health care to struggling to get a good education to fighting in a war I disagreed with. And so there's an opportunity to send that sort of real-world firsthand experience to Washington, D.C.
And you, as you just alluded to, I mean, you're an Iraq War veteran. You're from the. What input does your experience as a veteran bring?
Well, we do. Right now in Washington, D.C., we don't have members of Congress who have experience serving in the military. I firmly believe members of Congress who have served in a war, I don't think we would have gone to Iraq in the first place, or we certainly would have planned it better, and we would have been prepared when those veterans came home with some extremely challenging injuries. And so I think we need an understanding of national security.
From your perspective, then, so what do we do about the Iraq and Afghanistan?
Well, the key is recognizing that the military is not going to solve all of our problems overseas. Our problems are just as much economic as they are diplomatic, and we need to recognize that the military is going to be strained to a breaking point if we continue to use it in that sort of way. We need to recognize that the State Department has a very clear role, especially when you're talking about Afghanistan, Pakistan, that border region, or organizations like USAID can also play a huge role in improving the economic conditions in other countries, so we don't have to use the military in every situation.
So in your view, should we bring the troops home soon?
I think it's clear that we do need to bring our soldiers home. Those are used in a way that is a full spectrum approach, includes economic, includes diplomatic, and military. I think we have that kind of, if we have that kind of balance, we'll be able to use our soldiers a lot more effectively.
Healthcare. You mentioned that you grew up without health care. Obviously, that's the hot issue right now in Washington. If you were elected, what would you do? Or what?
Exactly. I'm a firm supporter in the public option. I like the idea because it preserves choice, and it certainly helps to drive down costs because of competition. In the country, when we have competition, it helps to improve quality and lower costs. Right now, my owner is scratching her head trying to figure out how she's going to pay for her health care. She is Kaiser, but the rate has doubled since 2000. Past that sort of for customers. It's extremely tough to stay competitive.
Even the president has conceded, I believe, or certainly the public option that's passable in Washington. What about that?
Well, I firmly believe that the public option is the minimum necessary to solve our real health insurance crisis here in this country. I don't see how anything less than that is going to include a system that is competitive with private insurers to help maintain and lower costs.
The economy, of course, the other big issue, especially in this area. We've, lots of foreclosures, lots of people having a hard time losing jobs. What would you do, and do you bailouts that we've seen for banks and that we've seen for automakers?
Well, I am concerned with the idea of deficit spending. Right now, we need more time. These sorts of deficits are going to really, going forward, my generation is inheriting those. My goals are to make this a friendly to small business environment where small businesses can flourish. They provide here in this country. But we also need to recognize we have some amazing opportunities to invest in. The laboratories, for example, in the southern part of this district are an amazing opportunity for us to become a new energy leader. We really do.
You described three of your opponents, I believe, as career politicians. Some would say that they're the ones the best equipped to make their way around Washington and make the sorts of connections that need to be made to get things done. What would you say?
Well, I would say that there were career politicians serving in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. growing up. There were career politicians when I was trying to figure out a way to pay for college, and there were career politicians who were at the helm when I was going to Iraq. And so I think career politicians haven't served us well. We need fresh perspectives. We need a break from the past.
Some appreciate that you have fresh perspective and new ideas, but that you don't have any experience, and that maybe you should be running for something.
Well, I look hard at what I've done And if for the challenges that I've faced firsthand, I am the person in this race who has the clear national security expertise, economic expertise, and I've experienced the challenge that we're debating right now firsthand. It'd be great if was one of the 47 million Americans who are uninsured in this country, if we had work clear that politicians need to get this issue right. I think we need those sorts of advocates right now.
Ellen Tauscher's been described as a conservative Democrat. How would you describe yourself?
Well, I think it's clear that we need to recognize that both, and we need to recognize that we need people who think through these issues clearly, sorts of different side out. Very, very helpful going forward. It's clear that partisan politics hasn't been helpful. I'm a proud Democrat, but I believe both sides of the aisle have some good ideas. We need to work hard to find compromise solutions that are going to help us out as a country and get us back.
Still kind of vote for?
Well, I think he is in this race, and we're seeing more and more voters get more and more excited about the idea of, you know what, we have a lot of problems here in this state. We have, I'm running against 3 folks from Sacramento. They have, things they should be focusing on. Because we have a clear option here. We could send a person who's experienced these challenges firsthand with fresh perspectives and new energy. We could take a break from the same old pattern of sending Washington, D.C. We can elect a person with first-hand experience dealing with the challenges that people are facing today.